Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Inside Scoop with Alex and Jeff. I'm Alex Dingman.
I'm Jeff Doss. Let's do this, guys. Welcome to another episode. Man, this is pumped up. This is going to be a great week. We had an awesome show last week. If you don't know, we are sponsored by Virtual Fight Tour. And they always are great, a great show. I mean, a great group that helps us out. And they put on the best show in sport karate, really, I would say.
I would say that right now. Absolutely.
Yes.
Virtual Fight Tour has the best show in all sport karate. You're gonna find the best.
November 20th is the next one. So VFT 11.
We got some fireworks on this next one too. I mean, we've heard a little bit about James Port and Robbie Lavoie, and that is going to be a fantastic match. You know, I feel a little different. I know CTE was talking about that, kind of felt like it would be low scoring. I actually feel like it's going to be super high scoring.
Okay.
Third round. I just feel like they're just going to go.
Just going to turn on.
Yeah, but it's typical, to feel out distance, spacing, and timing. All right, and angles. The first part of the first round, that makes sense. If it's multiple rounds, it makes sense to get it down a little bit more, plan a few things out. But I have a feeling in the last rounds they're gonna go gangbusters.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's going to be interesting. Also, I talked to Brian Crum today, who is fighting Jerry Fontanez, and
Jerry Fast Feet
Fontanez. Yes. And so, hoping to get those guys on to talk about their fight soon, which is going to be great. And what's interesting with that, there's going to be one round of point sparring and one round of continuous. So I was trying to talk to him and see what he knew about. Okay, so how is it going to work? Is it you win one round? I think it's per round. So whoever wins the point round, it's just like wins, and then if you win the continuous, so if one won the other, they have to go to a third round. And so maybe it'll probably be like a flip.
What is the third round going to be?
Well, that's what I mean. It could be one or the other. It could be who chooses, you know what I mean? Kind of like they've done in the past, so.
Yeah, but I could see it going. What if they did something else? You know what I mean? What else could they do?
First point wins. They could do. They're not doing forms, okay? No, they're not doing forms. I mean, that would be cool. Both of them can do forms. So, but that would be interesting.
Jerry
I don't think
people a lot. He was.
I think Jerry. I think Jerry would win a breakdancing contest. So I don't think that's fair.
Yeah.
We can do. Yeah. So I don't know. So that's going to be great, guys. Make sure you go check it out. Go ahead and get your plans ready for VFT 11, and many more fights are on the way. So we're going to have a great time.
So we've had some of our.
Okay. John Call is saying submission only. All right.
Oh, well, that's gonna be interesting.
That would be interesting.
So we had some of our VFT athletes on stage at the Diamond Nationals, not last weekend, but the weekend before. But what some people may not have known is that the Diamond Nationals kind of had some new rules that were just kind of a little bit under the table that nobody really knew about, that are very big rules.
Yeah.
One, most important, was that apparently now it is okay for a front hand, an elite hand, to score to the body.
Right.
So, and this is just seriously, this is total irony.
Wow, this is nuts.
I had a person message me maybe like 3 weeks before the Diamonds and asking me, they say, "Hey, am I crazy? But the front hand of the body, that is not a scoring technique, right?" And I'm like, "No, there's no circuit in America where front hand of the body is okay." He goes, I thought that, but someone just said, if you hit him, it's okay. And what people don't understand is if you've never really done it, if you just think, hit him with the front hand, it's no big deal, you're not understanding what's at stake. So it 100% neutralizes a situation, makes a not talented fighter advance way further than maybe they should. All right. And I'll give you a prime example. So crew that we were training with last week, we were joking around about this. So I said, you know what, today we're just going to make front hand of the body. We're going to make a score. So Now listen, my old body can't hold up the same way. It just, man, I need an everything replacement. I'm not even joking. Like everything. If I go to stand up right now, it'd just be pain, right?
Right.
So I'm just running a clinic just over and over again. And I'm like, this should not be happening, right? Just be straight up. I'm not faster than a lot of these guys. There's a guy that almost nobody knows about who's faster than everybody outside of like maybe the top 5 people, right? Mm-hmm. His name is Miles Bates. Just like stupid fast, stupid long, right? If it's just pure speed, I don't think I know 5 or 6 people faster than him. I know a few people faster than him, but I don't know that many people faster than him. He's that fast. And I was just picking him apart. Like, and I'm like, this should never happen. What people don't understand though, and Joe and Jeff, I know you know this, is the front hand, people think about it. If they don't know about it, they think about it as an offensive weapon.
Right.
Which is also a cheap shot, by the way. Right. The first time I fought in a WAKO event, I utilized it that way. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to get my first fight was a team match against Top 10 Ireland. And I said, all right, I'm just going to kind of let them know I know this distance. So I kind of threw it a little bit, faked it a little bit. So the people knew that, all right, it's kind of there. I know about this. So don't try and think you can get a cheap one on me, right? Really just kind of keep the distance back. It increases the space so much because of what you can do. Right. Now, we've talked about Elijah Everell, how long he is. And I still had to say, listen, let's just wrap our minds around this. Bailey Murphy is no giant.
Right.
You needed to drop down a weight division to be in Elijah's weight class.
Right.
Let that sink in.
Yeah, let that sink in. That's true.
Elijah is tall and very long, all right, and sits extremely low with that fully extended swimmer's looking like arm, right? It is so hard. And the thing is even like a side kick, when you run at it, when you're at an angle and you lunge, right, the only real threat, all right, is if it hits you in the face, which is a massive like mistake.
Right.
If you're throwing a side kick. But that front hand of the body changes everything, right? Absolutely does. Now, I have a feeling if it's really going to stay in America, we're going to find out by January, right?
Right.
But I don't know why NASCA does this, but they change rules in the middle of a season.
Makes no sense.
It doesn't make any sense. And look at what we're talking about. We're talking about one of the most dramatic rules to a fighting match I may have ever heard of. All right.
Right.
That I've ever seen in my point fighting or competition life, right, is a front hand of the body. It's probably the most dramatic. Now you're going to implement it at the biggest tournament that year. And just like a few people just happen to just.
Right. And we're also talking about, think about it too, a short year too. You know what I mean?
You said it.
It wasn't even like a full NASCA season too, you know? So it's just weird. It makes no sense. Like you could have waited, till January, have it start at AKAs, I don't understand the rush to put a rule out. So I've never understood that. That was something I've always been against. So I don't know, but I'm not a fan of it.
Nobody is.
I don't think anybody really is. So, but it's there. So it's going to change the game. So why do we think it happened? I'm not sure. Because again, there's no 1 point body kick, but there's a front hand to the body. So who knows?
It's very strange. So by digging in with both heels, saying, no, we will not give up the 2 point kick to the body, really led me to believe, all right, they want to cater to kickers a little bit more. All right. They don't want to give that up. All right. Which in some ways I can respect. They're like, you don't want, because if you give that up, like there's no turning back. Like you can't be like, well, now this year we're going back. Once you give that up, it's over forever. Right? No one will ever trust you if you go back. All right. So, but then the way that they were like allowing kicks to just not be called, not say stop, for kicks was just so alarming to me. Right. I felt like we were back in like 2009, 2010.
Right.
Then,
well, in super fights or something. Yeah.
if you said it, it was so many, because it was the super fight thing. Like even in point divisions, like nobody cared about kicks. Nobody did.
It was crazy.
It was back fist, punch, body side kick. That was it.
Yeah.
Right. That's all you were doing. All right. Nobody even did ridge hands anymore, except for Hamid Farouzi. That was it.
Yeah.
But that was it. It was just back fist, punch, and body side kick. Now, a lot of that had to do with the really fingerprint that Jody Tension and Ross Levine had on the sport at that time, which was very integral to the development of sport karate, not just in the continental U.S., but even in South America. I really feel like their influence there helped quite a bit. Back to where we were going, though, right? This front hand of the body thing, okay? So obviously nobody understands it, but if you're trying to go like, well, what do we think? Why do we think maybe they did? Is it to attract more European influence?
European, maybe so. That could be it.
It can be the only reason.
Right.
It can be the only reason.
Because I don't think it's for us to do better to go over there, because why would they want they want to keep our people here. You know what I mean? They want to keep our people here. So I don't think that's the case. Now there's some promoters that do
already do well over there.
Sometimes, yeah. I mean, right now we are, but I think those types of fight, we'll get into that right now. But there still has been, the high level ones do, the best do, but not everyone. You know what I mean? Because it is so different. It's still different. I mean, we'll talk about that probably in 20 seconds, but
yeah.
So that's kind of where we're going with this.
It's a rule you can abuse very easily. All right. If you are your best conditioned athletic self, you do not want a front hand of the body, because it's someone who's like I was mentioning, like I'm dead dog tired. I got nothing left. I can beat you. And I have no business being in that match. Right. That's what can happen to you.
Right. But then you add on the other end a high level person doing that same thing. So, yeah.
But then that's the thing, though. The skill level that you need to be able to do that technique well is like there, man. It's like minimal.
Right. But
you have an
again, Alex, what I'm saying, though, what I'm saying, we're not talking about them going against someone without skill. We're talking about someone with high level of skill that has learned how to do that. So you're making that even harder. I mean, I'm sorry, like someone like let's say Alex Verez, he knows how to use that at a great level. Richie Verez, all those guys, over there knew how to do it. So it's not like we're talking about, people that just have no skill and can't do it, so.
It doesn't help you become a great fighter either. Like if you want to have some fun, just one night, in the karate school, in the dojo, you want to go ahead and do it for a night, and then don't do it again like ever.
Right?
Go ahead, have some fun, because it's when you play it as a game, like for a night, it's fun, right? It's a fun little game. Let's not confuse ourselves. Don't put fight anywhere near it. It's a fun little game. That's it. All right.
Right.
And then now never play that game again, because it will immediately be to your detriment.
Yeah, I think there's some bad habits that it leaves for. Obviously, self-defense or real situations, leaving your head wide open. Yeah, it's just.
Or even skilled, sophisticated point fighting in the States.
Right. Yeah. Oh, I know. So,
but we're not in the States is what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about what's going on worldwide. We're going to talk about the World Championships. So
yes, WAKO Worlds. Big WAKO news, Worlds man.
Italy, and I forget the name of the city they're in. I feel like it's Central Italy. But it's been a big talking point.
It's huge right now, man. Lots of good stuff. I've been up almost every night. I didn't get up this morning to watch some of it. Not really on purpose. Like I just, for some reason, like, hey, it's 4. I'm waking up. All right, let me watch some. It's nuts. But
I'll tell you that I'm not doing that until I have not done that. That's
no, but I've been watching it some when I can. I've been keeping up with the sports data and looking at the draws and all that. So, man, this right now, what's cool is I've been watching everything. I know and how good everybody's been doing, especially from the USA team.
Right.
But what's crazy is that this year, already with what has happened.
Say it.
And we're gonna have the most medals of any WAKO USA team ever this year. So congratulations, Team USA. Awesome job. And there's still some more forms to do. There's still team fighting to do. And I think we have 1 or 2 people that can medal in full contact as well. So, and most of that is the tatami sports, that we've done. So let me go through everyone that is either medaled or is in medal contention right now.
Yeah. Good.
All right. So Rashad won the gold medal today in creative forms. So congrats to him.
All right, Rashad Eugene.
Yep, Rashad Eugene. And then you got a silver in weapons. Rondo, I'm trying to remember her first name. Andrew, help me out. Miss Rondo. She, I think it's
Andrew
Olivia.
knows everything.
Yeah. She got a silver. And so those are for the forms, and they still have forms tomorrow. Okay. Musical forms and weapons tomorrow. So we got Blake Spence in semifinals for point fighting, Trent Spence in semifinals for point fighting, Enrique Latono semifinals. Same. All of these are point fighting. Henry Lamb, Bailey Murphy, Troy Benz, Brianna Nurse, El Java, and then Raquel Benz is in the semifinals for kick light. And then we still have team fighting. So, man, it's just great job to WAKO team. Jared sent me all this today. Good job to that whole crew for putting together a great team and having them focused on being ready for that. You know what I mean? A lot of these guys didn't. The only one of them, I think, well, there's 2, maybe 3. No, 2 that went to WAKO. I mean, went to Diamonds, Bailey and Brianna did, and Rashad, of course. So those 3 that went to Diamonds, but everyone else has been focusing on this, you know what I mean? And this style of fighting and everything. So it's been exciting, man. Been cool to watch. And then also several Mexican fighters and Guatemalan fighters that are over there that we've known that are doing great things, like Paola. She has fought many times in the States, and she's in the semifinals.
Once you kind of compete with us, after that, we kind of consider you one of us.
Right. Exactly. Right? Exactly.
And there's a reason why, and I don't think it's like we do it enough. Like we don't mention someone like Timmy Sarantudis, right?
Right.
We'll talk about him a lot, and I think Elijah's the fastest person in the world. He's probably the second fastest person in the world.
Yeah. Right? And so he's fighting Enrique. He's fighting Enrique in the semifinals. So that's going to be an amazing fight. It's going to be a great fight.
Timmy's going to sweep him at least once.
Yeah. Definitely
once.
Definitely with that, at least with the way Enrique fights.
The way Timmy fights.
Yeah, exactly. So one of the big things today was a big fight that Bailey had with the guy from Italy. Forgive me, I don't know his name. Huh?
Was it David?
No. He's in a different division.
Okay, I thought so, but I was like, I don't know.
No, I can check some of that.
Like he did really well. The Italian fighter.
Yeah, it was 21 to 20, 22 to 21. So it was close, and the guy was winning the whole fight until the last 6 seconds, where Bailey kicked him in the face with a round kick. So yeah, I mean it's definitely crazy right now with that. So hold on, I'm on the wrong page.
Even as you watch that fight,
yeah,
it's kind of frustrating unless you know the game.
Yeah,
because Bailey was 100% in control of that whole fight, and
correct.
was 100% losing the entire fight until that head kick, right? And it's because like he's controlling the spacing, he's controlling the distance, he's controlling the contact, right? But you can manipulate. You can do that. Bailey had to mix in some body jabs too, but it's not just a body jab. It's the fact you don't understand. It's such a sophisticated game,
right?
The contact has nothing to do with it, right? Because you can get 1 point each way, right? Your great blitz can get absolutely nothing, right? And it's just the same as nothing happened when they give 1 point each way. All right. It's just the same as nothing happened. All right.
Yep.
You might as well just said, I don't know, or it was a clash, or don't even say stop, because it's almost the same thing. It's the same end result. Right. You're just as far ahead now as you were then. So the 1 point each way is almost more effective than a block, because now you're making contact. You're implanting doubt into that offensive fighter's mind.
Mm-hmm.
So I actually think that would be the biggest detriment to NASCAR if they ever did something like that. Gave 1 point each way. That would be way worse.
Yeah, that would be bad. Yeah,
because that.
Yeah, you never saw it as much. It was a rule in NBL, but you didn't see it abused as much.
You said the word right, abused. Yep. They did not. It was, and when it was called, occasionally people would go, "Wait, that's a thing."
Yeah,
that's a thing. Oh yeah, that's right. That is a thing.
Right.
Okay, I suppose. Right. But a lot of times you would just go, all right, it's clash, right? Phil's saying it's all about strategy. It is. It's all strategy. He's absolutely right. But and you can use that to your advantage. If you know this person's just a speed demon and they're going to come out blitzing, right? And every time they move forward, you move forward with your front hand. You don't have to worry about blocking, right? And it's really interesting. Now, it is a little bit more strategic than that, but just to say, like, it's really interesting. All right. But
so again, one of the things I listened to an interview that Bailey had after, and he was just kind of like, I was still kind of getting used to the way we fight, because I haven't fought in Wacko since the beginning of 2020. So you kind of see that, and the guy is really good that he fought. So he 10-pointed his first fight. Elijah has 10-pointed both of his guys. So they're in the semis. Elijah fights, I think, a guy from Canada, and Bailey fights a guy from Ukraine, and then the winners go head-to-head, and hopefully we get to see this Elijah versus Bailey fight that we've all been wanting to see who's the best. So it's going to be exciting.
Stop the tournament for that.
Oh, well, that will probably be they're probably going to have to put that one in the finals or the stage, you know what I mean? I would think they would need to do that. If not, they would be crazy. So, but
I think for most of the men's senior, they call it senior just adults.
Yeah.
Right. I think most of the men's senior gold medal fights are in the final. Right.
Not always, because even like last year, Elijah's wasn't. The last time his wasn't in there.
That is strange.
Yeah. So they pick several different ones. They'll pick a few of the point. They'll a few of maybe 2 or 3 of the female, and then they'll put some light contact, and then low kick. So they try to mix it up. So
I like a little.
They have some demos of the forms guys. So,
and some of our tournaments here in the States should implement that same strategy and just go, we don't have a set schedule for the finals.
Right.
I'm just going to put in whatever the heck I feel like it.
Right. Right.
Because if you go with 18 plus heavyweight. Yeah.
Yeah. Wasn't always great. Yeah.
I'm not going to put you guys up there. All right. Although I thought the 18 plus heavyweight final at the Diamonds was great. All right. But
Right. I wasn't taking it like you were saying that. I was taking like the heavyweight division, not the heavyweight grand.
Jeff, I got to preface a lot of what I say now.
Yeah, you do. All right.
I got to preface almost everything I say now, but it's whatever. We'll take it with giggles. It's all good.
All right. So let's get back into some of the highlights. So again, some of the cool things right now. Actually, we'll wait on this one, but we'll go into someone else. Forms was today. Forms of weapons. Again, like I said, Rashad won. He got second in the weapons. And one of my good friends who started in the NBL, Arturo Armendariz, won the creative weapons, and he got 4 10s and a 9-8. So his score was a 30, a perfect 30 of what they had. So he had done this before as a junior. I think he was the first person to get a perfect score. And I think that was maybe 2018 or 2016 when he won that. So he has been out for a while. He hasn't been competing for a while. But to me, he's probably the top 4 or top 5 bow people. So I think, you're talking about Jackson, Jake Presley, Ben Jones. I think he's in that list around there. Yeah. he's super fast, clean, and he does the difficult things.
And where's he from?
Guatemala. Yep. So he's been a mainstay in the NBL growing up. Then he won several on WKC, and then he moved over to WAKO, and he's won junior WAKO titles. I mean, this is his first adult one. So he, I think he was finished in med school and then came over, got back into it. So congrats to him, man.
Important kind of school to have.
Yeah. So the forums has gotten bigger. The amount of people they had, they're doing it in the morning instead of stopping it in the beginning of like, I think in the past they would like stop in the middle and then reset the whole thing and then do forums.
Right.
And this time it was what kicked off the show. So it was cool to see that. Also, congratulations to Valeria Bolaños, I think it's how you say her last name. I've known her as well since she was a junior. She's from Mexico. She won the women's creative weapons. So lots of cool things to see there. And I think that was their first, that might've been their first title. So they were having fun
about that to a certain degree. So I remember that there was like this WAKO World Championship. I remember like hearing about it like in like the mid 90s, like, oh, there's this thing. There's a world championship for karate? Really?
Right.
All right. I never really knew about it. I was like, I for so long, for a few years, all I knew about was NASCAR. Right.
Yeah.
And then I started hearing about this NBL thing, and I was like, oh man, let me find out about this. All right. And then you see the yearbook, and you're like, oh wow, this thing is freaking cool. All right. Yeah. Then you start hearing about this WAKO thing. And then I remember the more I wanted to learn about it, and I would ask people about it, they were like, I mean, you could be a WAKO World Champion today. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And they're like, I mean, it's not all that. Now, this is then, right?
Yeah.
And I remember in 1999, after John Valera retired at the Diamonds, and he won his 2 last rings.
Right, he went to WAKO.
He was like a blonde-haired, like, demigod, right? So, and someone said to me, they go, yeah, I mean, he won the 2 rings and he won a WAKO World title. And I remember word for word, I went, so? Right? What's the world title mean anything? Right?
Oh my God. You're stupid.
No,
you didn't know.
You are stupid. At that time though, Jeff, was I wrong?
No, you were wrong. Yeah. You just didn't know. Just because you know now because you went to Irish Open and you experienced it all and you're watching it. It still is not the same. Okay. Now in forms, there was still, listen, there was a guy you compete against that almost did the same form as him. All right. And there was people that were good, were decent. Okay. Now, and their competition was there. All right. But again, you can only have one person from per country there. All right. So it's just different. All right. But you're saying just WAKO in general.
No, what I'm saying is the WAKO World Champion at that time was the U.S. representative.
In some cases, not always.
It's like it was at that time.
Like Corinne Belanger, she won, and she's from Canada. She did compete with us. I understand.
Okay,
Chloe Bruce, I think Chloe Bruce has won WAKO.
Don't get me on Chloe Bruce. Don't even get me talking about Chloe Bruce.
I'm just saying there's other ones that have won, but I get what you mean. For the most part, it would be that. Okay, but again,
that's not that.
There was a lot of difference though. Okay, because back then you had to do a whole 1 minute form. All right. So John had to make his form longer. They just recently changed this. All right. There's a lot of new rules now. All right. It used to be that your form, the first move that you do, that's when the time would start. And then you would have to go all the way through because I think the first year that a lot of Americans went over to the Irish Open to compete in forms, several of them got DQ'd or couldn't do it because some of them, their forms they didn't know how to do a form above a minute. So
what it was, Jeff, it goes back to what we were talking about. They didn't have beginnings.
Right.
If they would have had beginnings.
And the rule, and the rule was it has to be a martial arts technique, right? So some people that are doing all of this stuff, that didn't count. Yeah, that didn't count. But if you went, how about punch, then do all that, okay, that, so
now it counts.
But now it's different. It's just the minimum is, I think, a minute, but that includes your walk-in. So now it's kind of like, yeah. So, I mean, there's been some things changed. There are actual creative rules. There are different stuff like that. I think you can do a B twist in their creative rules, which is kind of cool. Which you probably should, because it's only a 360 and it's flat and it's a martial arts technique. So, anyways, I know what you're saying. The problem is with the WAKO was no one knew how to get there. You know, the only qualifiers at the time when we were coming up was the night before at Ocean States. And I mean, I remember watching it and seeing it, but it wasn't a big, it was only adults, and it was every other year for a while. Then they kind of brought in the junior ones, and that came later on. So yeah, again, what you're saying, I get what you're saying, but now this is the thing we look forward to. It's still trying to get there with the forms, but again, like I said, we had someone like Rashad, who is a top competitor here. He won creative forms, but he didn't win his thing that he is really known for, with his double bow, you know. So the competition's there. So I mean, it's growing. It's going to get better. I think with someone like Jared involved, it will help, because he has a background, you know, in this, you know, and pushing that. So
it's a big deal. Yeah, like him having his involvement with Team USA and being a representative, and then having that as his background does help a lot, you know. And I'm glad that, you know, someone with as much cred as like Rashad really just said, I'm doing this too. Because I'll tell you, I was talking about trying out. This is like early. This might have been like 2000, where I'm like, dude, I'm gonna go do this. Larry did it. I'm gonna do it. Right?
Yeah, that was something I always wanted to. Yeah.
And I told that to somebody, and they're like, they laughed at me.
Right.
And I'm like, what are you talking about? They're like, dude, what the frick is that walk? What does that mean? It doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
You want something to mean something? Go in the Battle of Atlanta. And I'm like, well, pump the brakes now.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and that was, for me, it was like trying to figure out how to get there. That was always the hard part, especially later on when there wasn't really the tryouts and it was just kind of being picked. So that was always tough. I remember one year I almost went, but it was when Charlie Lane was really heavily involved with it.
Yeah.
And, but again, it was like a month before. It's like, here, you can get your ticket right now. I'm like, man, I'm not doing that. So, but because I know they had spots open, you know. But now, you know, they're doing a good job with the nationals and everything. So, what do we got?
Jeff, you want to take that question?
All right. So you're saying, how much of Wacko's new rules are modeled after skill rules? Are there changes in rules to draw NBL competitors? Just curious. No, I mean, most of these WAKO rules have been in place for years.
Yeah.
I mean, because WAKO has done it that way for a long time.
There's crossover with the rules.
There's crossover, yeah. I think as far as rules, the most similar to NBL is actually WKC. And actually WKU, sorry. WKU and WKC have the most similar rules to NBL because both of them do have ground fighting. I think 3 seconds ground fighting. That's very similar to that. Huh?
They do.
Yeah. But yeah, so there's that. There's a couple differences, you know, but there's no, I mean, you put your hand on the ground in WAKO, it's like a violation, right?
Yeah.
If you go to the ground, so that kind of stuff, there's none of that.
There are certain things about.
But actually, here's something people forget though, and when we have him on, he'll explain this. A lot of the weight classes, the original weight classes of NBL, and the initial rules were in place because of WAKO. So originally, I think it was 1990. The winners of the NBL Super Grands actually became the WAKO US team. Okay. So that they were in conjunction working together because at that time, Jim Lantrip, I think, was running the WAKO at that time. And so they were working together in that first 1 or 2 years because I think
it's a great
91, I believe, was Atlantic City. It was in Atlantic City, the WAKO Worlds was. And so that's why those divisions were very similar in the weights and everything. But yeah. Oh, and as far as reforms, maybe, but again, it's more than just USA though, Phil. Like it's a world thing. There's, so again, like most of those people that are over there in Europe,
not just the city,
they've
the
been
world.
doing it for everywhere. So I mean, but it could draw other NBL competitors in. Yeah, maybe so. Let's see. What's some other things that you saw as far as that? Like, I mean, I know I'm excited to see Brianna Nurse moving on. That's really cool to see her growth and development.
I want to talk about Troy Benz for a moment, man.
Yeah, man, he's killing it.
He's like fine wine. He just keeps better.
He 10-pointed his first 2 fights, so he's in the semis now.
Yeah, I remember confused because I went into like I think a second fight, and I didn't know the score. By the time I went in, I was watching Rashad Eugene's like live stream.
Oh, yo, his live streams are great. I love it.
You said it. It's fantastic.
It's fantastic.
He should be. I tell you what. There's few. I think everything that involves a microphone, I would be great at. Right. Anything that involves a microphone, whatever thing you have to do, I'd be like, oh yeah, I'd be great at that. No problem. Rashad should comment on martial arts activity of any kind.
Oh wow.
Right.
Wow. Yeah.
So what I love about him is he's such a homer, right?
Oh, well, yeah.
Anything because he go ahead and just check out his Facebook like live stream.
Yeah, so he's live streaming every time a US fighter is going on. Yeah.
And that's the way you should do it if you can. All right.
So well, that's what he knows. That's what his followers want to see. So yeah,
you said it. So which I bit right into. So I'm watching it, and there was a few matches. I think there was one where Enrique was fighting, and he was throwing a bunch of side kicks. They weren't getting called. And oh my gosh, Rashad was like, oh my goodness, they just love this front hand of the body, don't they? And he's just going over and over.
I'm like, yeah, dude, where you been? You didn't know this?
It reminded me of when I think Nate Robinson fought Jake Paul, and Snoop Dogg was one of the one of the commentators. Reminded me of that when he's like, slow down, nephew.
Rashad. Jesus. Yeah,
Rashad would be funny. He would be comedic gold right away.
That was great. That was great.
For some people that don't know, maybe you heard from episodes past, Inside Scoop has a fantasy football league.
Oh yeah.
I'm in a few of them. I don't care really about any of them except for that one.
Yeah, right? This one is intense.
And for not even the placement of like what's happening.
Right. No.
There we have a group thread, and Jackson Rudolph and Troy Sexton are just fan freaking tastic in it. Right? Just on and on. Troy is relentless, and Jackson is like thought processed.
Right.
So 2 opposite spectrums, and neither one of them gives up. And then insert me into that. Right?
Yeah.
Oh man, it's hilarious.
It's all bad.
Really good. So
it's hilarious.
We talked about that. We talked about how it would be great if Jackson and Rashad were in a booth commenting on forms together.
Right.
Because Jackson would be buttoned up, calling out exactly what's happening and why, and commenting on what he sees, and then Rashad would just get emotional, which would be great. Right? Yeah. Let's just make that happen. Yeah. Jesse, next time you have a virtual forms tour, put the 2 of them in there.
There you go. Oh man. Yeah, it's classic. It's great stuff. So I'm going back and forth between his streams and the Wacko live streams.
Yeah, the Wacko live streams.
So yeah, I mean, lots of good stuff. Again, the other thing that, it's been great to see an Enrique fight. Been great to see, like we said, Bailey, Troy Benz, Henry Lamb is someone who's done a great job. He's a young guy, up and comer, and he's put in work. He's doing a great job out there. So these guys are all in the semifinals. I'm
concerned about Enrique. I'm not going to lie to you. I thought I would see more than just a quick body side kick and follow-ups. Mm-hmm. I've seen a couple of head kicks.
Right.
Basically, all I've seen is quick body side kicks and follow-ups. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so I thought I'd see a little bit of a different like maneuvering and gamesmanship. And for the matches I've seen from him so far, he's winning. Right. The first match was freaking close. Right.
Yeah.
because the other guy, he was using gamesmanship, right? And he was working it, right? He knew, like, all right, this guy's not really kicking at my head. I'm gonna cement my rear hand across my ribs. I'm not moving that thing, right? And he's just gonna work it. And oh, look at this, the director.
Yeah, I know. Look at this guy.
Aloha.
Yeah, our director just landed in Hawaii.
Mahalo.
Oh man.
So anyway, so yeah, I was a little concerned about him. I have a feeling, like, I hope he wins and, like, 10 points as guys, but I think there's cause to pause because of that, because I'm not seeing an adjustment of the style the way I thought I might.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I don't know if you feel the same way or not.
No, I know what you mean. Yeah, when I was watching it, I got that feeling too. I was like, okay, like, you're still doing the same thing. You didn't change anything. No matter what it is. Right. So I don't know. I mean, I'm hoping that, all I know is from talking to other people on his team that actually the person that over there has given him the hardest time was his first fight. And apparently they've gone into sudden death many times or overtime many times. And that's what happened there. And they got paired up in the first round. But he's 10-pointed a lot of the other people that he's going against. But again, they're probably changing it up. So, but yeah, so let's see. You want to go ahead into our competitors of the week? Because because we're kind of
our competitors of the week are going to piggyback off of what we were talking about.
So these two boys, man.
Jeff and I have a combined competitors of the week because there's a story behind this, and we have Blake and Trent Spence, who are also Team USA representatives at
top 10 USA members. Yep. They came into this World Championships. They're both from South Carolina area. They both came into this World Championships competing in 3 different categories. Okay. So they're kick light, point, and light contact, which is continuous style. So, and what's funny is right now, if you've all watched their Facebook page, or whatever, they train with Stephen Thompson, and they've been training a lot of kickboxing. Blake has done several kickboxing fights, full contact. They've been training this low kick. They've been training their continuous. They've been doing this. So in my mind, they were more prepared for this. But it's way different over there, right? It's completely different. So I think, Blake lost both of his on his first round. Trent won his low kick, lost his light contact. And Trent is a former junior world champion in light contact. Okay. So, and from what I heard, that he might have re-injured his hand, but I'm not sure. So I don't know how the next round is, but he didn't move into the next round for low kick. But after that happened, I was kind of like, oh man, I hope that they've been training for this point stuff. I don't know, man. We haven't seen them do anything in a while, since I haven't seen them do point since the WAKO trials, which was in February. And man, they're coming out there 10-pointing everybody. They're coming out there destroying everybody and looking great, fighting awesome.
Yeah. They're athletic enough to where they can make that adjustment. That's really key.
It's really cool.
It's actually a big deal, the fact that they can do that. So, because so often when guys make that switch and they're a point fighter and they want to do some full contact or even light contact, but low leg kick is a bigger deal. That's a big deal.
It is.
Right?
It is.
You go to do that switch. I mean, unless you're Chris Walker,
right?
You don't just bounce back and do everything, right?
No.
Chris Walker does everything, right? So, but it's hard. Like, once guys make that switch to where they're going to do a full contact type of fighting style, right?
Just
they're not doing full contact yet. I'm going to say yet because I think they're going to, right?
Right.
All right. But that's the style of which they're fighting in. It's hard to bounce back and forth. So they have that athleticism, clearly. All right. Their movement is very good because once you start sitting, like, you can't fight point fighting. You can't sit in point fight. And you get eaten alive. All right. So they're doing a fantastic job. Big ups to them because so often, Jeff, let's just say this. So often, decades before, right? let's just say, let's not go too far back. Let's just say the 80s. Okay.
Right.
I know that's crazy far back. All right. But let's just say, all right, what typically was the MO was you got very good at point fighting. You were a champion. And then your crossover, your next step was what?
The PKA, which was
full contact.
Full contact.
Eventually,
American style kickboxing. Yeah.
That was the
I
wish that was still a thing.
Ray McCallum, you know?
Yeah, exactly. That was the thing. Or even Bill Wallace.
Wallace, Jeff Smith.
All of them.
Joe Lewis.
Right?
Yep.
Everybody. Right. So that was the next thing. You get good enough at this. This is where you go next. All right. You play NCAA ball, you go to the NFL. All right.
Yep.
That's just what it is. Right. And so everybody did it. Steve Nasty Anderson did it. All right. Everybody did it. All right.
Yep.
So
Benny the Jet.
Then you go into the 90s and point fighting careers extended a lot longer, but there were still guys transferring over. All right.
Right.
Still guys did that. I think by the time the 2000s came around, people stopped transferring over. And I think say it. Go ahead and say it.
Well, the American style kickboxing pretty much went away.
Exactly.
And K1 kind of came in. So it changed everything. And you would have to get into leg kicks and Muay Thai and the style was different.
Anything to do with?
Well, it wasn't even that. It was just you didn't see the movement in there in that, right? Until now, when someone like a Raymond and even a Ross and those have kind of shown that it can be done, you know? So, yeah, I mean, it's just taken that time. It was that gap. It's really weird.
It's hard, though. I mean, you take a very good fighter. Let's take a very good fighter. Let's take Alex Lane.
Right.
And I really love Alex Lane. He should never do a leg kick match. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, right? I got you.
I should never do a leg kick match. Right.
Right.
I've got like microfractures in my leg. Right. Alex Lane shouldn't because Alex, I love you, but I think I outweigh you by 50 pounds, and I think you got me by 5 inches. All right. So that's what I'm talking about. So like that he wouldn't fare well if you transferred over to that.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So now these guys are doing it, and they're doing both, and I think they're in medal contention in all of them, right?
No. They're not. No. They lost in the other ones. They're in medal contention for point fighting.
Okay.
Yeah. But they did the others. It just didn't work out well for them on that. But what was cool was that, and this is what they've been focusing on, but it's helped it. I mean, to me, they look like better point fighters right now.
Yeah.
And one of the things too is I know they've been taking their conditioning better, their nutrition, everything. They're focused on doing this, professionally. So it's awesome, man. Another cool thing is that, all right, so they're both in like the lowest two weight classes, right? And they're two brothers, right? And they're going against in the semifinals 2 brothers.
Stop.
Yeah. So Blake's fighting a Russian guy, and his brother will be fighting Trent.
I did not know that.
That's insane. Yeah. So that was something that their dad put out, and I thought it was a really cool story. So we have 2 sets of brothers fighting each other.
Wow. WAKO USA Kickboxing's got to do something big for that. All right. Rob Zabilski, you got to do something on that because I mean that's like the miracle kickboxing version.
Right.
Not the same dynamic. All right. It's not 1980.
No.
Right? But it's cool.
Oh, yeah. It is cool. Yeah, it's helped their condition big time. So I'm excited. I'm excited for them. I think, I know Blake the last time he got silver, and he really wants to get that gold. I think watching him, Colocho was fighting really good, and he had a hard time with this Cook, this guy, I think it's Corey Cook from Great Britain. And I watched him today, and he's really good. So I think will probably be who, Blake gets through this ground with Russia. It'll probably be those 2, and that'll be a great fight. So because he's a little bit taller, he has that length to kind of match where Colocho doesn't. Hector Solari is also in the semifinals too, guys. That's another one. Can't forget about him. He's one of our top fighters in North America. And he's been doing kind of the same thing that Enrique has, is going over there several times to compete. So I mean, we got lots of people that are still left to go. I know tomorrow it'll be the musical forms and musical weapons. So it's an exciting time. And then, you know what? We got WKC starting next week as well. So
yeah,
it's a lot of cool stuff. Couple things I want to mention. You know, he's been watching the show, Phil Asden. Great job on your tournament last weekend. My students enjoyed it. They had a great time. And another great event in North Carolina. I know, let's see, Terry Floyd won the senior grands. Justice Floyd won the men's grands for fighting. If you can put down who won the 2 forms grands, I've been trying to ask around. I don't know. I know one of my students won the 11 underbelt forms grands. So he was excited. He loved that. And he was excited to get that money too. He was surprised. But everyone enjoyed it. So great job again to that. I was speaking at a family's at an event for one of my students. So, and also we had soccer, and Otis, the oldest was in from college for.
Yeah, I'm surprised Shelly lets you do all these dang tournaments. I don't want to say let.
I didn't go. That's what I'm saying.
That's surprising because it's like you're always there. That's why I love my stage of life that I'm in. I'm like,
and this weekend's big too. This weekend's big because Friday I'm tested for my 5th degree. I have my 5th degree test on Friday.
Stop. For real?
Yeah. And then Saturday, huh?
Where?
It's in Lynchburg. It's literally like where I live right now is like 2 blocks down. So yeah, at a hotel, in the ballroom at a hotel. So, and then the next day we're doing a big banquet. So it's a banquet for the American Freestyle Karate Association. And they have lots of different people that they honor each year. So I'll be doing that.
Okay, wait. Let's go back to your black. Let's go back to the test. Okay, so that's happening when? Which day?
Friday, 6 p.m.
Friday at 6 p.m.
Yep.
Is someone going to be someone needs to videotape this thing.
I'm sure there will, because I have a lot of my students coming to watch, and they'll videotape.
Do it. Have somebody. No, for real. And I'm going to say this. I would love. Look at me now. I would love somebody to live stream you. Just do martial arts. And the reason why is because it's not just, all right, kicking for forms, all right, point fighting, all right. Let's see what martial arts is supposed to look like. Please make somebody do that, all right?
All right, so like showing some of like my self-defense stuff and things like that. Yeah.
It all.
Just different.
Right?
Yeah.
How long's the test usually?
It's a little different. So it'll probably be about 2 hours. I'm not sure, but
it's so bad.
No, it's not going to be a big, it's not like I have to tell my students, it's, if you see it, it's not like our black belt test. Like our black belt test is like very long. It's long, and so is my 1st degree black belt test. But it's different, and so I have my 5th degree in Shotokan. This will be my 5th degree in American Freestyle. This will be under my original instructor. And so, he has it set differently of where, okay, you have to do this one form, then this weapons form, and then you have to do at least 10, self-defense. Then we do some breaking, then we do fighting. Then you have your physical fitness part is actually at the end. So after you're tired, you got to do all these things and meet a certain amount of techniques in that certain amount of time. So, there's things like that. So it's a lot different than what we do for our testing in my school. So it's kind of cool. So it's a different challenge. So
that would be good though.
Yeah.
I had to say this to somebody one time when I failed them.
Yeah.
Right. When I was their examiner. Wasn't my student, but I was their examiner, and I had to be like, sorry, not sorry. Right. What I said was, and I said, listen, just because the work you had to do was really hard does not mean you put in hard work.
Right.
And that's why when you said like you got this exam, I wanted to be like, boom.
Yeah.
Let's see what hard work actually looks like.
Yeah. Gotcha.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Make that happen. Make that happen.
Yeah. The only thing I do wish that we were doing some grappling, because I would love for people. Maybe I'll do that next time we do our black belt test. I'll let everybody. We'll live stream that part, because I love when we do that. I don't know if I'm really good. I just love I love doing it. So it's fun. But I'm not like a submission guy. I'm more of a wrestling kind of guy, like a catch style wrestling guy. So I like
wrestling. What does that mean? Like you catch them
it's
off
like
the rope?
wrestling with pins and submissions. So
Isn't that all wrestling?
no, not amateur wrestling. Like if you can't, there's no submissions in high school wrestling or anything like that, or college wrestling or any of that. So yeah. So like someone like a Josh Barnett, right, is an MMA fighter. He's a catch style wrestler. Okay, that's what he does. That's his main thing. Okay, so his style of submissions is more of that. Yeah.
Clearly. Apparently, I am not a wrestler whatsoever.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you are. Most like really good kickers are not really good at that.
Right. That's true.
That's actually pretty interesting.
All right, let's get to one more big thing. So we had a tragedy this week in our sport. We lost Chuck Merriman, who was a legendary coach and someone who led the way in our sport from the late 70s to throughout the 80s into the early 90s, coaching Team Budweiser, the Atlantic team, the Transworld World team, and really just a part of choosing competitors that ended up being legends, and having them on his team and leading them and molding them and guiding them to be coaches themselves, So we lost him this week a couple of days ago.
So that is a big deal. And I don't know that he knew what he was going to inadvertently create when it happened.
Right.
Which was, not immediately after, but within years, he fundamentally changed the way martial arts tournaments were really open sport karate tournaments were looked at.
Right.
In the sense that when we go to a martial arts event, sport karate event, and we look at it, we're looking at the moment we walk in on whether it's a Thursday or Friday. Jeff, what are we doing? We're looking for who's there.
Yep.
Right? And we're looking for who's on what team.
Yep.
Right? Ooh, what team's here? What team's here?
Correct.
That didn't really exist before.
No.
Chuck,
right? No,
it did there, in the sense that this school is here, right?
Right.
Like let's just say like Boston Taekwondo, all right? Boston Taekwondo's here, right? But not team XYZ, right?
Right, and there's like a national team that picked the best from here, right? Correct. And even when they first started doing that and brought like the Budweiser team, it was them going against other school teams, you know what I mean? Or other region teams, and that at first until it kind of expanded. And then you had, the Coors Light team and the American Airlines team and those teams that kind of stepped up after that. So, yeah, it really changed everything.
It's a big deal. He did get to see the fruits of his labor right away when it happened. Yeah. But sometimes when people are that influential for what they're changing and creating, they don't get to see the fruits of their labor.
Right.
And I kind of thought about this, when the few times I went to Europe and I saw some of these castles and I'm like, wow, how long did it take for these things to be built? Right. And at the time, the king or whoever was decided this thing would be built at this time,
right,
never even lived to see it built, right? To see it finished. And I'm like, that's madness. That's crazy, right?
Right.
But when you know what you're doing, right, is going to fundamentally change for forever, what needs to happen, or if like this is what needs to happen in this sport. I don't care. I'm going to do it now. Right? That's a major thing. So I think that's great that Chuck did get to see the fruits of his labor while doing that. But a lot of times people don't.
Correct. Yeah. So again, man, RIP, blessings and prayers out to his family and everyone and all the teammates and people that he coached. I know that some of them are having a rough time this couple of days. And also just think of the great times and everything. So, So again, thank you to Chuck for all the contributions he's done to the sport.
Right. And I don't want to minimize it, guys, but just for full transparency, I have never met Chuck. I don't know, Jeff,
Right.
if you have at
No,
all.
I have not. No,
So
sir.
I don't want to, make it seem like I'm just skipping out on things like that. I've never met
Right.
him, so don't personally know that much about him. But obviously, he was that influential in sport martial arts history.
Yep. Definitely. All right. So
speaking of sport martial arts history, we might be making some sport martial arts history with the next virtual fight tour.
Oh, there we go. Yeah.
So I'm pretty excited about this this Jerry Fontenez.
All right.
Fight. I know we talked about it a little bit, but I got to tell you, I'm a Jerry Fontenez fan.
Yeah.
We had
him on our show, man. If you guys haven't listened to that episode, go and listen to it. It's so much fun. It's crazy and random, but that's Jerry, So, and we're gonna be working on getting him on the show to talk about the fight, because nobody hypes up a fight like Jerry Fontenez, man.
Jerry Fontenez didn't hype himself up the way I don't even want to say he hypes himself, because he really doesn't. Right? He just talks a lot. Right?
Yeah.
People would talk about him all the time because he is actually very accomplished. Right?
Oh, he is.
Think about the things he's done. I mean, think about this. Not just his martial arts career. He created a product in Rec Suit that everybody had to have. Right? And then it had, and then companies like Macho and Century and Bold Look had to have it. Right? And then there was Massive Fall, and then there was this attempted rebirth. It's just all about this thing. Like
many things that he's done. Yeah, right. And he's always working on something new. Like he's doing all kinds of new things right now. He's always forward thinking, and people don't give him the credit for that. So definitely excited to see that fight. I'm excited to see the continuous and the point. The mix of that is going to be exciting. We're going to have him on. One of the coolest things I've ever seen was when it was him. There was a set fight at Battle of Atlanta 2000, and it was Jerry Fontenez versus Brian Ruth. And he hyped the heck out of that thing. That Friday night before, he comes up on stage and starts calling Brian Ruth out. You can't handle this. I'm too fast for you. I still got it. You don't have no personality. I mean, all this stuff. Calling Brian out. Brian wasn't really much of a talker. He was just gonna whoop him, right? And then he comes up there and he starts breakdancing. And then like Saturday during the day, I mean, this is we're all competing. He gets on stage and just talking smack. Then that night he comes up and he has all of his crew, like, he has like Kim Do up there, like breakdancing with him, and different people like that breakdancing with him. And man, it was just nuts. And then he goes out there and fights Brian Ruth. So it was fun, man. but yeah, so that's what I'm expecting for VFT 11.
Yes.
Yeah. So intense stuff.
What you got going on the rest of the weekend, Jeff?
So I have the test. I have the banquet. I'm doing another kick pics photo shoot. So I'm busy, man. I'm going to be sore on Monday, I think. But
those kick pics things are cool. But you know what, though? I got to tell you, like, I think like you and like Stephen Horst have like the best kick pics photos.
Right? Oh, yeah, definitely.
By far.
I just keep my shirt on. I don't, I don't have all the crazy ripped stuff like he does.
He's built different.
Yeah.
But dude, the kick pics photos, they gotta do less crotch shots. Right? It's hard to not get crotch shots.
I know.
You're doing kick.
And you're doing it straight up. Yeah, I know. That's probably
not to get
hard.
That, but just slightly. So we're not going to get too much crotch. This is the same.
Yeah.
Constructive criticism.
Yes, Andrew, people are heading out to WKC. Starts Monday. So good luck to everyone on that. I'm sure we'll talk about that when we watch all of it going on. I think usually Sport Martial Arts is there streaming everything, so we'll get to watch everything.
Hopefully. And that kind of piggybacks off of what I talked about last week. Is I think we were spoiled a lot. I think sportmartialarts.com kind of carried the sport on its back for so many years, and then we just kind of where we were very spoiled in the sense that Sport Martial Arts has a live stream for every single ring.
Yeah. It's crazy. It's nuts, man. It's nuts.
Very, very much so.
Yep.
But, you know, whether they're there or not, you know, now it's like, I think the appreciation has started to set in as to what Emily Cooper has created. That's a person we just need to have on. Am I right, Jeff?
Oh, that would be fun. Yeah, we should definitely do that.
That's what I'm saying.
All right, guys. Well, hey, this has been a great show. Everyone keep cheering on Team USA and all your friends for Wacko. Great job. Not just the USA guys. Great job to everyone out there putting in work. Oh, you know, one thing that I saw I've never seen before. I saw there was a fighter from Korea there this year. And I think I don't know if it was in point or it was in light contact or low kick or something.
I mean, it would be more likely if it was in a light contact or low kick.
Yeah, but I just never have seen that in Wacko before. So it's kind of cool.
Point fighter.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
I'll have to go back and check that.
The way Taekwondo is going is trending lately.
Yeah, you're right.
It actually might be more likely.
Huh. Yeah. Yeah. Kyle says go Canada.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? It's just like you said, Jeff. Like if you've competed in North America, we guys kind of adapt you as well.
Right.
You know?
And I'm telling you though, man, Guatemala and Mexico, they're doing big things in Wacko. Like Mexico, man, Guatemala, they really are. They've been building teams that are focused on that. So great job to that. Would love to see that. That's kind of where I wish that like Canada was a little bit more uniform, you know, to where they had a stronger team, you know, for Wacko.
Is their thing a little bit
more.
Oh,
I know.
You know, so they have a much bigger presence in WKC,
and they even have a strong presence in WKU too. So I mean, that's the thing. So it's but they love it, man. They love the country versus country thing. So and we're getting a lot of it this week. So check it out, guys. Watch Sport Karate. Watch
Jeff on. Everybody go ahead, drop him some notes. I didn't know this till right now, brother.
I told you about it. I told you about it before. It's all right. Really? Yeah. I mentioned it on the show.
Oh, maybe that was it.
It's all right. It's all right. But yeah. Andrew, yeah, let's not talk about Wacko Canada. That's funny. But all right. Good luck to everybody.
This is another episode of Inside Scoop with Alex and Jeff. I am Alex Dingman.
I'm Jeff Doss. See you guys next week.